Hello, hello. How's everybody doing? Good, I hope. Today I'm going to cover a topic that I haven't covered before, but I think this is a good topic to cover for new people that are new to Kratom. If you if you've been using Kratom for less than a year, less than 6 months, you probably want to watch this video. Signs that you're addicted to Kratom. Am I addicted to Kratom? When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you think about? Is it Kratom? When am I going to get my first dose in? That's a big warning sign. First thing that you think about. I used to wake up in the morning and for years, that'd be the first thing on my mind. When am I going to take my Kratom? Another warning sign is if your usage has gone up, your daily usage or however often you use, if you started off with 1 milligram, now you're at 5, or now you're at 10, now you're at 20 milligrams a day, or grams, 20 grams a day, big warning sign. Your tolerance is going up, big sign that you're addicted to something. Another one is usage, how often you're using. When I started, I used it once, and then I think I didn't use it again for another few days, used it again, and then I take maybe a week off. I wasn't really worried about it. I'd take it again. But it seemed like I started using daily pretty quick, because I got that feeling and I was like, hey, this is great. I want this to go all day. I want to feel this all day. So if you're new to Kratom and you're using multiple times a week, tone it back, please, or stop altogether, because multiple times a week turns into daily usage like that, quick. Once you're using it every day, then you're using it multiple times a day. And by then, probably more than likely, you're addicted. That's how it happened to me. One warning sign to me that I didn't even know, I didn't even realize it, was you get a feeling of angst. You feel anxious and like restless legs. And the way I explain it is restless back, because I would feel it all through my back and my spine. If you've been watching my videos, I talk about that. I'll give you an example. When I started using Kratom, I'm not sure how many months afterwards, I was using Kratom regularly. I would wake up in the morning. I had a weight set in my basement, a bench, and a workout room. So I'd go to that workout room, and I noticed I'd be warming up. I would work out, and after my workout, I'd stretch. And while I was stretching, I felt crazy anxiety, and I had no reason. I had no clue why, and it was all up my back, like from the bottom of my back up to my back here, back of my head almost. And it was like, if you gone through withdrawals, you know what I'm talking about. And I just thought I was feeling anxious because I had recently lost somebody that was close to me, or I was in the process of losing somebody that was close to me. They had cancer, and I just chalked it up as, my body's going through a lot of emotions and I'm feeling anxious. But I didn't know I was going through withdrawals. I had no clue. I'd never been through withdrawals before. So I'd go about my day as regular, take my Kratom an hour later or 2 hours later, whatever it was, and it never crossed my mind. But that was a big sign. I would feel very anxious, and Kratom took it away, took that feeling away. And then I might have told this story before. I want to say about a year and a few months after I started, about a year actually, after I started using Kratom daily. I mean, I was a daily user. I think it was in the back of my head that I might be addicted, maybe. But it wasn't something I thought about all the time. I really didn't think about withdrawals. But I went to a wedding that was about an hour away from where I lived. We drove up there and I had Kratom with me in my pocket. That was probably subconsciously me thinking, hey, you're going to go through withdrawals, or you're going to need this later on, so take it with you. but I really didn't know for sure. So we drove an hour away, and I knew I was going to be there for a few hours. On our way home, it was maybe 11 o'clock at night, 11:30. Everybody's sleeping in the car, and I start getting that super anxious feeling through my back, like, oh, and I couldn't sit straight. I would dig my heels into the floor of the car. And then I realized I'm addicted to Kratom. It just all came together. Dude, you've been using this daily for a year. You're addicted, and I didn't know. I didn't know that could happen. Probably in the back of my head, I knew, but I had so many other things going on in my life that I didn't think about it. So I pulled over, drank some Kratom, and while everybody was asleep in the car, and drove home. It kicked in, I don't know, 20 minutes later, however long, and I was fine. But I drove for probably 20 minutes with that feeling. And that definitely happened a few other times. That's a big one. Pay attention to that, especially if you're new to Kratom. You've been using it 6 months, a year, less than that. If you get that feeling, yeah, that's withdrawal. You're starting to go through withdrawals. Another big one that I didn't really realize, I didn't notice until it was not necessarily too late, but I used to always like to stay active. I wasn't the type that I was just 5 o'clock at the gym every single day for my whole life, but I was kind of on and off. I would go to the gym for 5-6 months, and then I'd be out for a couple months, and then I'd go back for another 4 or 5 months. But I was always doing something active, playing sports. Where I live, there's a lot of outdoor activities, physical activities to do. So I was an active person for sure. And I lost interest in physical activity during my years of Kratom use. I was not interested in going to the gym. I wasn't interested in anything physical. And it took a toll on my body, which I think I'm probably still paying for right now. That's another big one, loss of interest. With me, I lost interest in the gym and physical activity and health. For you, it might be something else, a hobby, your job, who knows? During my Kratom addiction, I was a delivery driver for a couple years. So it was kind of repetitive. I didn't really need to think about it. Just lifting up boxes, printing orders, just basic delivery stuff, nothing crazy. And then I started a business, and it was a cleaning business. I would clean windows, gutters, houses, which also too, it doesn't take too much thought. You got to be proactive in getting business and stuff. But to me, it didn't take too much to do it, and which is another reason why I didn't put as much effort as I could have in that business. I didn't have necessarily interest in it. I did, but I didn't. And those are probably the main signs. The loss of interest is probably later on down the line. First one you want to think about is your usage, how often you're using and how much you're using. If both of those are becoming a lot more frequent and higher in quantity, big red flag, cut it off, And I know a lot of people say, Kratom got me off pills, Kratom got me off alcohol, Kratom helps with my anxiety, And yes, to a certain degree, but remember something. I just spoke about this with somebody that commented on my video. Kratom did not get you off of pills, drugs, alcohol. You did that. You got yourself off of that. Did Kratom assist you? Sure. But you got yourself off. Remember that. So if you got off of that, you can get off of Kratom. And as far as anxiety or depression or what you're using it for, just remember, Kratom, and people can say, oh, Kratom is a beautiful thing. And if you found Kratom and you can use it wisely, you respect it, if you use it actually like a medication and you're not using it every single day, as a crutch all day, every day, then maybe a few people have figured it out. Maybe a lot of people have figured it out. But for the most part, kratom isn't necessarily helping your anxiety. It's kind of probably masking it. You know what I mean? And there's probably a deeper issue, something you need to discover, maybe your diet, physical activity. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know anything about medicine for anxiety, but from what I've found, I have a lot of family members that were previously or are currently on drugs, alcohol. I mean, you name it, prison. A lot of my family's wild, and a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety. I mean, you name it, I got it in the family, and I just haven't seen any drugs that helped in any of those situations, including kratom, So something to think about, especially if you're new to kratom. Think about these things, look at the warning signs. Look deeper at the issue. Am I using kratom to really solve my problems? Because if that's your goal, you have problems and you think kratom is the solution, you might be wrong. I don't think kratom's a solution. You don't want to trade one addiction for another. Or you don't want to be stuck on kratom every day and know, what, if I quit this, I'm going to go through withdrawals, but it helps me with my anxiety. You might want to consider other options that don't involve, psychoactive chemicals changing your brain. But that's me for today. Don't ignore the red flags. Y'all have a good one.